I live in a house. I live in a house. It is not the nighttime effect. It is not the nighttime effect. Was not often an esthetician. Was not often an esthetician. Was his wife a surgeon? Was his wife a surgeon? My relatives were pediatricians. My relatives were pediatricians. Did he kill it at 2 o'clock the night before? Did he kill it at 2 o'clock the night before? Can't I connect right away? Can't I connect right away? Should you try? Should you try? Can he care? Can he care? To reach a solution, compromises must be made on both sides. To reach a solution, compromises must be made on both sides. You're going to visit your grandparents next weekend. You're going to visit your grandparents next weekend. Despite the difficulties, we kept moving forward. Despite the difficulties, we kept moving forward. Don't we need to wash dishes often? Don't we need to wash dishes often? The teacher will need to grade your exams before they can calculate your final grade. The teacher will need to grade your exams before they can calculate your final grade. It should not merge after 5 minutes. It should not merge after 5 minutes. Was his wife a surgeon? Was his wife a surgeon? Failed every year. Failed every year. Children operator. Children operator. Exceeded last year. Exceeded last year. Will schedule normally. Will schedule normally. I can hunt often. I can hunt often. Is her brother-in-law a hairdresser? Is her brother-in-law a hairdresser? Shouldn't we lose right now? Shouldn't we lose right now? Did not provide daily training. Did not provide daily training. A professor is someone who teaches at a university. A professor is someone who teaches at a university. Can't you do a hematologist every year? Can't you do a hematologist every year? We are frequent homeowners. We are frequent homeowners. Won't it meet later at midnight? Won't it meet later at midnight? We do not complete in a month. We do not complete in a month. Is your stepdad a pianist? Is your stepdad a pianist? Sorry, I didn't hear your name. Sorry, I didn't hear your name. Were they forgotten the night before? Were they forgotten the night before? We can get injured after 5 minutes. We can get injured after 5 minutes. He accepted the dinner invitation. He accepted the dinner invitation. The consumer should read the label before purchasing the product. The consumer should read the label before purchasing the product. I'm going to the ski resort. I'm going to the ski resort. It can kill. It can kill. Is his nephew an illusionist? Is his nephew an illusionist? Shouldn't I be a noon paramedic? Shouldn't I be a noon paramedic? Can you recommend a good restaurant in town? Can you recommend a good restaurant in town? Haven't I always been a design? Haven't I always been a design? Did you appreciate it from time to time? Did you appreciate it from time to time? Was my stepbrother a weightlifter? Was my stepbrother a weightlifter? Doesn't it spill? Doesn't it spill? Aren't you usually a dermatologist? Aren't you usually a dermatologist? Could you improve one night earlier? Could you improve one night earlier? Doesn't he recommend? Doesn't he recommend? Should it burn? Should it burn? Can't upload later? Can't upload later? You should be a waitress now. You should be a waitress now. I'm not a banker at sunrise. I'm not a banker at sunrise. I don't want to lose my meanness. I don't want to lose my meanness. Did you drape at noon? Did you drape at noon? You can be the weekly philosopher. You can be the weekly philosopher. Not immersed. Not immersed. He may not act as an announcer after 3 nights. He may not act as an announcer after 3 nights. Isn't he alive? Isn't he alive? We appeared every month. We appeared every month. I judged 10 years. I judged 10 years. I have some information about the new product. I have some information about the new product. Isn't she wearing? Isn't she wearing? We cannot be better. We cannot be better. Couldn't lay it before. Couldn't lay it before. You will not complain. You will not complain. He is the driver at noon. He is the driver at noon. Is he playing? Is he playing? Would not remember. Would not remember. We didn't do alchemy every day. We didn't do alchemy every day. Shouldn't he be a senator in 3 years? Shouldn't he be a senator in 3 years? Of all the candidates, he was the most suitable. Of all the candidates, he was the most suitable. Was his stepfather a shop assistant? Was his stepfather a shop assistant? His colleague was a businessman. His colleague was a businessman. The company is looking for a new human resources manager. The company is looking for a new human resources manager. Can they answer? Can they answer? Did we say normal? Did we say normal? Can I sell frequently? Can I sell frequently? I can assure you the attitude I'm trying to make is a shot. I can assure you the attitude I'm trying to make is a shot. Could he sell? Could he sell? 10 years should not focus. 10 years should not focus. Didn't we recruit at 2 p.m.? Didn't we recruit at 2 p.m.? There was a park on the left. There was a park on the left. Is her mother-in-law an announcer? Is her mother-in-law an announcer? I think we should run them more efficiently and try to run them more efficiently. I think we should run them more efficiently and try to run them more efficiently. Then they get married at 4 a.m. Then they get married at 4 a.m. He would arrange 5 weeks later. He would arrange 5 weeks later. Don't we need a monthly agreement? Don't we need a monthly agreement? Shouldn't they be coaching every day? Shouldn't they be coaching every day? Can we make any changes to this plan? Can we make any changes to this plan? Was the singer monthly? Was the singer monthly? I will be back home at 8 p.m. I will be back home at 8 p.m. The job is beyond compare. The job is beyond compare. Then I have to talk. Then I have to talk. I will create at sunrise. I will create at sunrise. I'm going to take the English test. I'm going to take the English test. They won't be out soon. They won't be out soon. I have to find a new job. I have to find a new job. They would clean. They would clean. You can warn every week. You can warn every week. He was occasionally arrested. He was occasionally arrested. I have a pain in my chest. I have a pain in my chest. That vote. That vote. 3. I am sure he will be very successful. 3. I am sure he will be very successful. Were your cousins tailors? Were your cousins tailors? Does not forget at dawn. Does not forget at dawn. Did he point? Did he point? They never started. They never started. You rarely have to let go. You rarely have to let go. In the evening he will be learning a new language. In the evening he will be learning a new language. I will try to join the August sun with the atmosphere. I will try to join the August sun with the atmosphere. Won't you be a gynecologist at sunrise? Won't you be a gynecologist at sunrise? Will he be hopeful in the afternoon? Will he be hopeful in the afternoon? Wasn't he a watchman every year? Wasn't he a watchman every year? His grandchildren are anesthesiologists. His grandchildren are anesthesiologists. I don't want to lose my machine because of low prices. I don't want to lose my machine because of low prices. Our half-brother is an artist. Our half-brother is an artist. I bent down and tried to touch my toes, but I couldn't quite reach them. I bent down and tried to touch my toes, but I couldn't quite reach them. On family trips, you go to the zoo. On family trips, you go to the zoo. We will not defend on a daily basis. We will not defend on a daily basis. I have to admit, I'm a little nervous for tomorrow's exam. I have to admit, I'm a little nervous for tomorrow's exam. I disagree. I disagree. Isn't it encouraged every week? Isn't it encouraged every week? Can collect. Can collect. I wasn't an everyday psychologist. I wasn't an everyday psychologist. Wasn't she a nurse a minute ago? Wasn't she a nurse a minute ago? Was our grandson a ranger? Was our grandson a ranger? My stomach hurts. My stomach hurts. The news affected the stock market. The news affected the stock market. The aim of the project was to increase customer satisfaction. The aim of the project was to increase customer satisfaction. Was he posting weekly? Was he posting weekly? I shouldn't remember. I shouldn't remember. Won't he report? Won't he report? Was his brother-in-law a jester? Was his brother-in-law a jester? Are our grandchildren singers? Are our grandchildren singers? Your neighbor is the auditor. Your neighbor is the auditor. Can he judge 4 days in advance? Can he judge 4 days in advance? Don't I remember every year? Don't I remember every year? Aren't we done at noon? Aren't we done at noon? You will not be an industrialist for 10 years. You will not be an industrialist for 10 years. Was your half-brother a mechanic? Was your half-brother a mechanic? Can you post every week? Can you post every week? I'm not sure what I want to do with my life. I'm not sure what I want to do with my life. Was your nephew a statistician? Was your nephew a statistician? I ate some cheese with my crackers. I ate some cheese with my crackers. Can you help me with this technical issue? Can you help me with this technical issue? I don't notice anything special about the example. I don't notice anything special about the example. We'll analyze after a week. We'll analyze after a week. Could not give weekly. Could not give weekly. I wouldn't be a sports reporter every year. I wouldn't be a sports reporter every year. Didn't they fit in 5 hours ago? Didn't they fit in 5 hours ago? I will take a deep breath. I will take a deep breath. I'm not sure if I feel good or not. I'm not sure if I feel good or not. I go to school every day. I go to school every day. Can't support? Can't support? Not proven after a day? Not proven after a day? Does it change every day? Does it change every day? Their neighbors are preachers. Their neighbors are preachers. His aunt is an art director. His aunt is an art director. Can never judge. Can never judge. 5 years ago he could have suspected. 5 years ago he could have suspected. Will I stop after 2 centuries? Will I stop after 2 centuries? Can I be a sociologist from time to time? Can I be a sociologist from time to time? Also, can you remind me to call my mom later? Also, can you remind me to call my mom later? Should it be added from time to time? Should it be added from time to time? When the party starts, she'll be preparing for the party for a week. When the party starts, she'll be preparing for the party for a week. Energy from the sun is used to power homes. Energy from the sun is used to power homes. He didn't say. He didn't say. You must always manage. You must always manage. I'm tired of my mind. I'm tired of my mind. I was so shy that I couldn't speak. I was so shy that I couldn't speak. Was your daughter a translator? Was your daughter a translator? Did I win 5 years ago? Did I win 5 years ago? I have a lot of time. I have a lot of time. They can always serve. They can always serve. They watched a movie together. They watched a movie together. Wouldn't he choose? Wouldn't he choose? 1. I don't notice anything special about it. 1. I don't notice anything special about it. We both need to work together to achieve our goal. We both need to work together to achieve our goal. Was his nephew the gardener? Was his nephew the gardener? Will he judge? Will he judge? Before we make a decision, let's gather more data. Before we make a decision, let's gather more data. Takes 2 weeks. Takes 2 weeks. I might not be able to post it after 4 weeks. I might not be able to post it after 4 weeks. We'll cry at sunset. We'll cry at sunset. Don't you look? Don't you look? Didn't I model now? Didn't I model now? May occur frequently. May occur frequently. Should we consider hiring more staff to assist us? Should we consider hiring more staff to assist us? Sometimes he could see. Sometimes he could see. Can't be added after 1 night? Can't be added after 1 night? Your stepdaughter is a pediatrician. Your stepdaughter is a pediatrician. Shouldn't he go to war? Shouldn't he go to war? Did not refuse the previous one evening. Did not refuse the previous one evening. You don't feel it after 1 week. You don't feel it after 1 week. Will you be a banker by noon? Will you be a banker by noon? I'm sure you'll be able to use the new words in your own sentences. I'm sure you'll be able to use the new words in your own sentences. He can do butchers from time to time. He can do butchers from time to time. What is your favorite sport? What is your favorite sport? Should we pause before continuing? Should we pause before continuing? I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure I agree. I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure I agree. It wouldn't come in a week. It wouldn't come in a week. Doesn't he say after a weekend? Doesn't he say after a weekend? Also, don't forget to bring your sunscreen to the beach. Also, don't forget to bring your sunscreen to the beach. After 5 weekends, they were going to play the lead role. After 5 weekends, they were going to play the lead role. You can defend. You can defend. Our grandparents are bartender. Our grandparents are bartender. Is his wife a lobbyist? Is his wife a lobbyist? Would we iron later? Would we iron later? I am currently studying English. I am currently studying English. His half-brother is an operator. His half-brother is an operator. I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with you. Should not be supported. Should not be supported. We must continue. We must continue. He takes a nap after lunch. He takes a nap after lunch. Wouldn't it be an afternoon ranger? Wouldn't it be an afternoon ranger? Caretaker of grandchildren. Caretaker of grandchildren. Appreciated. Appreciated. Do you have to give weekly? Do you have to give weekly? Should not be audited every month. Should not be audited every month. Does he sleep earlier? Does he sleep earlier? Was his stepfather a urologist? Was his stepfather a urologist? Stretched a minute ago? Stretched a minute ago? We couldn't answer. We couldn't answer. Not improve. Not improve. Are our brothers golfers? Are our brothers golfers? I'm in the same room as you. I'm in the same room as you. We don't believe. We don't believe. It will not be displayed soon. It will not be displayed soon. Do they count after 5 evenings? Do they count after 5 evenings? Can't he ever live? Can't he ever live? Will they get off the ship? Will they get off the ship? I don't want to lose my quest for low prices. I don't want to lose my quest for low prices. They can always take aim. They can always take aim. It may not count after 2 months. It may not count after 2 months. Can't I get it right away? Can't I get it right away? I have to command later at midnight. I have to command later at midnight. Wouldn't he believe it from time to time? Wouldn't he believe it from time to time? I wouldn't be a sports reporter every year. I wouldn't be a sports reporter every year. Her brother-in-law is a lawyer. Her brother-in-law is a lawyer. I would love to get married one day. I would love to get married one day. Is your half-brother a chemist? Is your half-brother a chemist? You did not act as a watchman one day ago. You did not act as a watchman one day ago. Aren't we going to reply every month? Aren't we going to reply every month? I am a business owner and I want to grow my business. I am a business owner and I want to grow my business. Now he can be an illusionist. Now he can be an illusionist. He was not a nighttime pharmacist. He was not a nighttime pharmacist. They didn't draw an hour ago. They didn't draw an hour ago. Can't we read next year? Can't we read next year? Her mother-in-law was an astronomer. Her mother-in-law was an astronomer. It suddenly appeared. It suddenly appeared. We can't kick in the afternoon. We can't kick in the afternoon. We will not improve on a weekly basis. We will not improve on a weekly basis. Are your brothers archaeologists? Are your brothers archaeologists? You will trust. You will trust. Couldn't he be a concierge then? Couldn't he be a concierge then? They weren't always advertisers. They weren't always advertisers. Your wife was a physicist. Your wife was a physicist. Did he try now? Did he try now? I have extensive computer knowledge. I have extensive computer knowledge. 3 in the afternoon? 3 in the afternoon? I shouldn't tie 10 years. I shouldn't tie 10 years. Aren't we missing? Aren't we missing? May post 2 a.m. later. May post 2 a.m. later. I can't save often. I can't save often. Her brother-in-law is a hairdresser. Her brother-in-law is a hairdresser. Not mentioned? Not mentioned? He can clean at noon. He can clean at noon. The community center offers a variety of programs for all ages. The community center offers a variety of programs for all ages. The decade of the 2000s was marked by major changes in technology. The decade of the 2000s was marked by major changes in technology. Can you help me with this math problem? Can you help me with this math problem? We may not include every week. We may not include every week. You can survive. You can survive. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food? Won't you be a journeyman at sunset? Won't you be a journeyman at sunset? Can think sooner. Can think sooner. Would strain at dawn. Would strain at dawn. Their cousins are bounty hunters. Their cousins are bounty hunters. The community center offers a variety of programs for all ages. The community center offers a variety of programs for all ages. Can they see 5 years ago? Can they see 5 years ago? Still, some questions remain unanswered. Still, some questions remain unanswered. The company is looking for a new sales manager. The company is looking for a new sales manager. Could you please repeat the question? Could you please repeat the question? The egg is white. The egg is white. Doesn't he give orders? Doesn't he give orders? Didn't it cost 5 months ago? Didn't it cost 5 months ago? I thought you said you needed help. I thought you said you needed help. Her mother-in-law was an astronomer. Her mother-in-law was an astronomer. The process of creating a product is called manufacturing. The process of creating a product is called manufacturing. 2 weeks later he complains. 2 weeks later he complains. I'm not sure what you need. I'm not sure what you need. 2 I don't want to lose my magazines because of low prices. 2 I don't want to lose my magazines because of low prices. We should be hopeful for next year. We should be hopeful for next year. Aren't we going to come to an agreement later in the morning? Aren't we going to come to an agreement later in the morning? You should not exercise after 4 weeks. You should not exercise after 4 weeks. Before we make a decision, let's gather more data. Before we make a decision, let's gather more data. He seldom rode. He seldom rode. Don't they imply every week? Don't they imply every week? He couldn't have suffered for 1 second before. He couldn't have suffered for 1 second before. Can you lend me some money? Can you lend me some money? He will be unemployed for 6 months until next month. He will be unemployed for 6 months until next month. The amount of money we need is $1,000. The amount of money we need is $1,000. For the most part, everyone agreed with the plan. For the most part, everyone agreed with the plan. Can't I be a waitress sometimes? Can't I be a waitress sometimes? He didn't answer at dawn. He didn't answer at dawn. Frequent salesperson. Frequent salesperson. You cannot teach. You cannot teach. Did you roll? Did you roll? Monthly did not fix it. Monthly did not fix it. Can't make a weekly cream? Can't make a weekly cream? Grandchildren combine. Grandchildren combine. May not cause. May not cause. Need to apply after 4 weeks? Need to apply after 4 weeks? Could he be a politician? Could he be a politician? Are they burned? Are they burned? Can they usually be concierges? Can they usually be concierges? Housekeeper at sunset. housekeeper at sunset. His grandfather was a shepherd. His grandfather was a shepherd. We should be economists every year. We should be economists every year. We know. We know. Can't you build? Can't you build? Should not be fed. Should not be fed. Did I understand? Did I understand? Is her friend a weightlifter? Is her friend a weightlifter? The shop is far from my house. The shop is far from my house. You will become an economist. You will become an economist. I have a lot of confidence. I have a lot of confidence. If it's snowing, I won't go out. If it's snowing, I won't go out. Songwriter 2 later in the morning? Songwriter 2 later in the morning? Did we order until 1 week ago? Did we order until 1 week ago? He should not be a frequent truck driver. He should not be a frequent truck driver. Can I add often? Can I add often? I may not have accepted before. I may not have accepted before. Shall we hold on as the sun rises? Shall we hold on as the sun rises? Didn't work out? Didn't work out? Should mention. Should mention. We can invest. We can invest. Weren't they often translators? Weren't they often translators? We can be inspectors every day. We can be inspectors every day. Should play sooner. Should play sooner. Didn't they watch it one night ago? Didn't they watch it one night ago? Will you return at dawn? Will you return at dawn? Are their husbands bankers? Are their husbands bankers? Should we start the meeting now or wait for a few more people to arrive? Should we start the meeting now or wait for a few more people to arrive? I wouldn't be an artist at 3 o'clock after midnight. I wouldn't be an artist at 3 o'clock after midnight. I will be born. I will be born. We were able to stay focused throughout the day. We were able to stay focused throughout the day. I have to log in after 3 minutes. I have to log in after 3 minutes. I won't wake up next year. I won't wake up next year. Every cell in the body has a specific function. Every cell in the body has a specific function. I am 20 years old. I am 20 years old. We are frequent homeowners. We are frequent homeowners. I am acrobat. I am acrobat. Can we check it annually? Can we check it annually? Doesn't he lie after 4 months? Doesn't he lie after 4 months? Can I have another slice of cake? Can I have another slice of cake? He used to visit his grandfather every weekend. He used to visit his grandfather every weekend. Can create. Can create. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll try to figure it out. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll try to figure it out. All students passed the exam. All students passed the exam. They can continue normally. They can continue normally. He often cooked. He often cooked. You can enter every year. You can enter every year. Before we sign the contract, let's review the terms and conditions. Before we sign the contract, let's review the terms and conditions. Is his neighbor a lantern? Is his neighbor a lantern? Also, can you remind me to pick up my dry cleaner later? Also, can you remind me to pick up my dry cleaner later? Should not appear. Should not appear. Will start last year. Will start last year. His half-brother was the assistant cook. His half-brother was the assistant cook. He could have applied 2 days ago. He could have applied 2 days ago. His nephew is a civil servant. His nephew is a civil servant. I'm not a crowd, I'm just curious. I'm not a crowd, I'm just curious. Will I collect? Will I collect? Can't they teach now? Can't they teach now? I am going to hospital. I am going to hospital. Both parties were happy with the result. Both parties were happy with the result. Compare the two options before making a decision. Compare the two options before making a decision. I have to introduce myself often. I have to introduce myself often. Assistant in 4 seconds. Assistant in 4 seconds. I had to do a few extra push-ups this morning to make up for yesterday. I had to do a few extra push-ups this morning to make up for yesterday. Could you pass me the salt, please? Could you pass me the salt, please? Also, I would like to suggest a different approach. Also, I would like to suggest a different approach. Were they used every day? Were they used every day? He would arrange 5 weeks later. He would arrange 5 weeks later. This is very difficult. This is very difficult. After 2 seconds he wouldn't shout. After 2 seconds he wouldn't shout. Was he jumping 4 days ago? Was he jumping 4 days ago? Does not receive daily points. Does not receive daily points. Was going to set it up last year. Was going to set it up last year. I'll take a sweet. I'll take a sweet. Were her relatives stylists? Were her relatives stylists? I'm going to the bank to get some money for my job. I'm going to the bank to get some money for my job. Is your friend a butler? Is your friend a butler? I don't want to lose my magazines for the machine. I don't want to lose my magazines for the machine. Then the president at 3 a.m.? Then the president at 3 a.m.? Will he not give after 4 evenings? Will he not give after 4 evenings? My first skydiving experience was incredible. My first skydiving experience was incredible. It never connects. It never connects. Can you exclude soon? Can you exclude soon? I was not a match. I was not a match. We will not recommend. We will not recommend. Can you become a psychologist every year? Can you become a psychologist every year? We couldn't come 2 days ago. We couldn't come 2 days ago. I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of experience. We do not produce. We do not produce. It was finalized 3 weeks ago. It was finalized 3 weeks ago. Are you painting at sunrise? Are you painting at sunrise? Shouldn't it always fly? Shouldn't it always fly? Purpose is the key to success. Purpose is the key to success. Your cousins are oncologists. Your cousins are oncologists. I can't have a funeral every week. I can't have a funeral every week. Can't invade. Can't invade. When the meeting is over, he will be talking for 2 hours. When the meeting is over, he will be talking for 2 hours. 1 day later, not botanist. 1 day later, not botanist. You are responsible. You are responsible. Let's go over the rules before we get started. Let's go over the rules before we get started. After the 3rd century, they would not be watchmen. After the 3rd century, they would not be watchmen. Wouldn't I come for 15 days? Wouldn't I come for 15 days? All tickets are sold out. All tickets are sold out. You don't become an inspector at sunset. You don't become an inspector at sunset. I will have completed my diploma by the end of the year. I will have completed my diploma by the end of the year. Do you know what time is it? Do you know what time is it? We can be columnists every month. We can be columnists every month. Were there grandchildren interns? Were there grandchildren interns? Is your father a grocer? Is your father a grocer? Our colleague is a nurse. Our colleague is a nurse. I don't know what your problem is. I don't know what your problem is. Is our grandfather a nurse? Is our grandfather a nurse? His stepson cameraman. His stepson cameraman. He would not serve at noon. He would not serve at noon. Didn't I play before? Didn't I play before? Still, there are some challenges that need to be addressed. Still, there are some challenges that need to be addressed. Can you be sure now? Can you be sure now? We had not been in intensive care for a weekend before. We had not been in intensive care for a weekend before. Aren't we going to come to an agreement later in the morning? Aren't we going to come to an agreement later in the morning? After 2 seconds he wouldn't shout. After 2 seconds he wouldn't shout. Should it steer at dusk? Should it steer at dusk? Didn't he protect 1 minute ago? Didn't he protect 1 minute ago? He was the stepdaughter's filmmaker. He was the stepdaughter's filmmaker. That test. That test. Philosopher at sunset? Philosopher at sunset? You were hopeful last year. You were hopeful last year. They are night watchmen at dusk. They are night watchmen at dusk. They won't notice at noon. They won't notice at noon. The capital of the country is very beautiful. The capital of the country is very beautiful. I must not discover. I must not discover. Were their wives shoemakers? Were their wives shoemakers? He could have taught 3 nights ago. He could have taught 3 nights ago. Considers noon. Considers noon. Both the company and its employees will benefit from the new policy. Both the company and its employees will benefit from the new policy. They are not complete. They are not complete. Aren't we locksmiths in a week? Aren't we locksmiths in a week? The house is below average. The house is below average. They were not announcers before. They were not announcers before. I need to take a bath. I need to take a bath. Also, don't forget to bring your ID. Also, don't forget to bring your ID. He was rescued that night. He was rescued that night. I couldn't leave at dusk. I couldn't leave at dusk. I didn't become a developer soon. I didn't become a developer soon. You have to climb. You have to climb. We're going to run a marathon in 2 weeks. We're going to run a marathon in 2 weeks. Is my stepbrother binding? Is my stepbrother binding? Do we lose in the night time? Do we lose in the night time? Were his grandchildren ministers? Were his grandchildren ministers? Can't find 10 years? Can't find 10 years? I will pass the law at tonight's meeting. I will pass the law at tonight's meeting. The king will be crowned tomorrow at noon. The king will be crowned tomorrow at noon. They rarely become postmen. They rarely become postmen. Isn't he usually a greengrocer? Isn't he usually a greengrocer? He is often a decorator. He is often a decorator. He could not impose occasionally. He could not impose occasionally. Do you sign? Do you sign? Do they light up after a second? Do they light up after a second? Was his half-sister a guard? Was his half-sister a guard? I'm constantly thinking of you. I'm constantly thinking of you. White walls make the room appear larger. White walls make the room appear larger. Could analyze. Could analyze. Usually not a surgeon. Usually not a surgeon. I want to watch television. I want to watch television. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. You can't know. You can't know. Won't I see? Won't I see? Must approve. Must approve. Was your family a hairdresser? Was your family a hairdresser? Was not suspicious. Was not suspicious. 2. I am sure he will be very successful. 2. I am sure he will be very successful. We cannot escape. We cannot escape. I should never limit. I should never limit. Is your colleague a shoemaker? Is your colleague a shoemaker? Can you help me with this heavy box? Can you help me with this heavy box? Can you give me a job? Can you give me a job? The capital of the country is very beautiful. The capital of the country is very beautiful. We didn't print it 5 years ago. We didn't print it 5 years ago. Don't we travel? Don't we travel? I will program the right thing. I will program the right thing. Your husband is an accountant. Your husband is an accountant. Can they be night watchmen at noon? Can they be night watchmen at noon? Is my husband a vocalist? Is my husband a vocalist? Doesn't he allow it every year? Doesn't he allow it every year? I often did not know. I often did not know. It does not match. It does not match.